We got a long day today. Let's go. They use these for surgery. Residency hours are insane. Spend the money, buy the food, treat yourself. Look how sick these things look. Very nice. 100%. Very nice. Residency is just freaking hard. This is the life we chose, baby. Welcome back, vlog. It's time for another week of anesthesiology residency. Say welcome back, Chip. Good morning, buddy. Fit check of the day. So fashionable, I know. Let's go to work. Bye, puppies. Welcome back, vlog. It's a new week, new vlog. I had a great weekend on Saturday. I went to the farmer's market, got some ice cream, went to the beach, had some dinner with friends. Yesterday I went to the beach again. We tried out surfing and then we went and had some pizza. Overall, just a super relaxing weekend. I am the late resident today, which is pretty cheeks. Hopefully I don't stay too late. Let's have a good day. Let's get it. So my first case today is a total lung lavage. So some patients can have certain diseases that cause a bunch of proteins and fluid to fill their lungs. And when that happens, one of the things you can do is lavage the lungs. So essentially, we use a special tube that allows us to ventilate one lung, deflate the other lung. Then the interventional pulmonologist can actually pour fluids into that lung, suction it out, and essentially clean out the lung. It's pretty cool. I haven't done a case like this before where you only ventilate one side, but it's not uncommon. So I'm glad that I'm getting the chance to do it this morning. I've already talked to the patient. I'm just waiting for the team to finish setting up the OR and then we'll get started with the case. Let's go. All right, guys, I am done with my cases for the day. It's about 4 o'clock, and like I said earlier, I'm the late resident, so I don't get to leave. I'm gonna go see what cases are still going on and then relieve those residents and let them go home, and then I will stay for the rest of their cases. Hopefully I don't stay too late, though. This is the life we chose, baby. All right, back to work. Alright guys, I just got done. It's about 8 p.m. I did get put into another room, which luckily the case was like just an hour away from being done. And so 8 p.m. is not that bad for a late day. Whenever you're the late resident, you need to just have like these low expectations where you don't think you're gonna get out at any certain time. You have to like mentally be prepared to be there until like the morning if it so happens. That way you don't get disappointed. So we'll take 8 o'clock. It could have been a lot worse. And I actually had some downtime, so I was able to chart review my cases for tomorrow and discuss them with my attending. So I don't have any work I have to do when I get home, which is really nice. That being said, I'm gonna go eat something, shower, and get ready for bed. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's freaking go.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Thank you. You too. Yo, one thing about me is that I will always treat myself, especially after I work a 14-hour shift. People are like, don't spend money eating out, save money. I'm like, no, spend the money. Why am I working all day if I can't spend $11 on In-N-Out, right? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Spend the money, buy the food, treat yourself however you need to. This is our only life. I can't wait to eat this. Let's go. Morning guys, happy Tuesday. Today should be a much more status quo day compared to yesterday. I don't think I'm gonna be here until 8 o'clock again, thank goodness. We've got a pretty decent lineup of cases today. However, they should all be quote unquote basic, like just general anesthesia, no extra crazy monitoring, a lot of just straightforward things. Let's have a good day. All right, cases are going well so far today. Taking a little lunch break with some pizza, which is a little bit different than I normally do. Pretty fast paced though, so I'm gonna scarf this down as fast as I can and get back to the OR. All right, guys, we are done. It's like 4 o'clock, kind of a long day, but a lot of good educational opportunities. Unfortunately, my day is not done because we just got tomorrow's schedule, which means I need to go home and pre-op my patients. Do you know what? This is one of the worst parts of my schedule so far, is that I'm not necessarily done just because I'm done at the hospital. Like, I still have to go and review for tomorrow's patients. Oh well. Let's get home and start chart reviewing. All right, so I'm working on some pre-opping right now, having myself a little cup of coffee. And I feel like this is the part of residency people really don't talk about. Like, you just think about being in the hospital and seeing patients, but there is so much work that we do outside of our working hours. Like, I'm doing all this pre-op work and it's been like an hour and I still have to call my attending to discuss. And instead, I would rather be getting some exercise right now or hanging out with the pups, but I have to do this, and this is just part of the job. This is the life we chose, baby. All right, I'm gonna keep working. Look, we got banh mi's. Heck yeah. Nice. All right, so it's pretty late. I've had a long day at the hospital, but despite all of that, I am gonna go for a little run. Getting myself to stay active after these long work days has been very, very difficult. But this is kind of a part of balancing medicine with lifestyle. So lately for work and running, I've been wearing these shoes. These are the Brooks Ghost Max 3. I have been loving these shoes so much. They're super soft, have tons of support, and have honestly just been perfect for not only my lifestyle as a resident physician, but also as a runner. I'm excited to be running my next half marathon and marathon in these shoes. So yeah, I just wanted to give them a shout out. I'll have the link to them in my description if you guys want to check them out. Anyway, let's get to running. Okay, I've gone like a mile and a half and starting to get really dark. So I'm gonna turn around and go home. Like I said earlier, getting myself to exercise after these long days has honestly been one of the hardest things, but I've never regretted doing it. And the hardest part is just getting yourself to start and doing things to treat yourself, like getting a nice pair of shoes or getting yourself a little snack or sweet treat after is a good way to stay motivated. All right, I'm gonna finish this run and get home, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Morning, guys. Happy Wednesday. We got a long day today. I am the second late resident, so not the last resident to get to go home, but the second to last resident to get to go home. It is pretty cheek since I was late on Monday. We also have grand rounds this morning, so that will be fun. I actually like Wednesday mornings when we have grand rounds because it kind of gives us like an hour to wake up while we listen to lectures and listen to a case presentation, kind of just get to drink your coffee, see some of your co-residents. So I tend to like Wednesday mornings, except for the fact that I have to be there for longer today. But it's okay because tomorrow we have an education day, so I don't have to pre-op tonight. So I guess that kind of makes up for it. I'll tell you more about that later, but for now, I need to get to the OR and get set up. So that's called a robot, and they use these for surgery. It's actually pretty cool. This is called boy lunch, baby. Okay, so it's like 6:30 in the evening. I'm done with my cases for the day, but like I said earlier, I am the second late resident today, and instead of being told I could go home, I was told I should go grab some dinner, which is not a good sign. I'm gonna go take over one of the ORs, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna end up being here pretty late tonight. Stay tuned. So for dinner tonight, I grabbed crispy chicken quesadillas, kind of a little nod to my intern year when I would get these all the time for lunch. I have not had these since I was back in Vegas. Let's see how they compare. probably one of the best things I've had at this hospital so far. Hopefully I don't have to stay too late, guys. I'm already pretty exhausted. I'll keep you guys updated. Guys, I'm done. It's like 7:30. Luckily, the cavalry came in. By cavalry, I mean the night residents. So basically what ends up happening is you have your late residents who cover the cases that are going late in the day. But then when the night team comes in, essentially they take over the cases that are still going on. As long as there's not a bunch of cases still running, then the late residents can hopefully get out of there. You gotta think that it's 7:30 and I'm the second late resident. That means there's another resident from the day that is still here. And that's nuts, man. These residency hours are insane. You guys gotta think that this is actually my second late shift of the week and it's only Wednesday. You know what though? This is the life we chose, and I know I always say that, but it is a lot sometimes, and it's okay to admit that. I am gonna give a shout out once again to these bad boys, the Brooks Ghost Max 3. I mean, come on though, look how sick these things look. Stylish and comfy. Today was a very long day, and contrary to popular belief, as an anesthesiology resident, I was on my feet the entire time. Thankfully, I've got comfy shoes like this that really help me get through these long work days. You guys can check them out with the link in my description. Anyway, it's time to go home and get some rest. See you guys tomorrow. Morning, guys. Happy Thursday. So as you can tell, I'm not in hospital scrubs because today we're doing a resident education day. So they're gonna have breakfast ready for us. We'll do a couple lectures and then we'll start the central line training. Kind of nice to have an education day halfway through the week to give us a break from being in the OR, especially after the long hours we're working now. Like, I've had 2 late days this week, so it's gonna be kind of nice to just be able to do some just regular didactic and hands-on education, and also just see my co-residents. I feel like in anesthesiology, you see your co-residents a little less than other specialties. All right, let's go learn some central lines. The weather is so nice right now.
What? Make it weird. It's doing it damn. No, I do sense.
Texas, really not paying attention. I was at the facility where they said 100% we don't know. Keep anything, especially
Very nice. Not the greatest dressing.
I have to go back and not the whole thing, but like check the circulation.
All right, that is it for our education day. Like 2 o'clock, brilliant time to be done for the day. All right, guys, so like I said, we are done with our education day. It was actually pretty fun. We basically just did a couple lectures and then we spent like 3 or 4 hours on just straight central line training. That was really nice because I will say that central lines are one of the most important procedures that we do as anesthesiologists. Those of you guys who don't know, central lines are essentially these catheters that we can place in the neck, under the arm, in the groin, and it essentially gives us direct access to the large vessels that go to the heart, so we can push some of our medications through it. There are several reasons you would place a central line, but you'll see it a lot of the time in the ICU or when you have patients going into surgery that are very sick and we need just direct access to that central vein. But they're not benign procedures, which is why we do so much training. Even before today, we had like 8 hours of online modules pertaining to this training that I had to sit through and watch and answer questions and everything. So they take it very seriously at my institution. Besides the training part though, it was really nice to see my co-residents. Like I said earlier, in anesthesiology, a lot of the time we're in the OR by ourselves or, you know, with an attending, sometimes a senior resident, but you're not often in the OR with a co-intern, right? Like maybe you'll take call together like I did with my co-intern the other weekend, but from, you know, your day-to-day stuff, you're mostly by yourself. And when you're in an environment like that, it can be easy to forget that you're not the only one going through what you're going through. So for example, these last 2 weeks have started to become a little bit tough for me especially after I got off one-to-one with my attending and one-to-one with my senior prior to that. You know, my work hours have increased. Not only have I had to start staying late like I have twice this week, but I started taking call, for example. Like I did a 24-hour call on a Saturday, which essentially means that weekend I didn't really have a weekend because I was post-call the next day and basically only had the energy to, you know, sit at home and catch up on chores the whole day. These long hours catch up, man. Like you come home and it's already dark and you don't really have a lot of time to do anything, and you have to kind of choose between making yourself a good meal, getting exercise, socializing with friends, or getting what is a fair amount of sleep. And that's a hard thing to balance, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's started to hit me a little bit over the past couple of weeks. And I started to wonder, like, am I just not handling this well? But I talked to some of my co-residents today, and it was encouraging to hear from them that they're kind of having the same feelings as me, the same tiredness, a little bit of burnout from the long hours, also frustrated with feeling like they don't get to do a lot of stuff once they go home because we still have to pre-op or it's already late and you have to get ready for bed. So it's a good reminder that I am not the only one who is struggling with the work hours right now. And I was thinking about my work hours from intern year, and if you guys have been following the channel, then you saw me go through my entire intern year, and I spent 4 of those months on medicine where I was working 6 days a week, 12-hour shifts, 7 a.m. to at least 7:30, sometimes 8 p.m. And I did that for 4 months of medicine, and then I did 2 months of ICU, which were the same hours. So I spent essentially half of my intern year only having 1-day weekends, which sucks. That was a lot of hours. I was doing a lot of 80-hour work weeks. I was thinking about my hours right now, and you know, I'm not necessarily hitting 80, but for some reason, it just feels like a lot to me. I'm getting to the hospital around 6 a.m. every day. You know, 2 days this week, I left around 7 or 8. Most other days, I'm leaving between 3 and 5. You know, I had one weekend, 24-hour in-house shift so far. You know, it's a lot of hours, but it's still like a little bit less than some of those months during intern year. And I'm like, what is the difference? Like, why does it feel so rough? And why am I having such a hard time? And I realized the difference is, one, when I'm getting home, I have to pre-op for the next day. So it's not necessarily like my time when I get home is my own. Like I still have work to do. Like today, I'm still gonna have to go home and pre-op in like an hour. Also, anesthesiology is a really physically demanding specialty. I think a lot of people think that it's super chill and you get to sit during surgery and stuff, but that is not the case, especially not during your first year of anesthesiology, where you're still learning and everything is new to you. There's a lot of technical skills in anesthesiology that you have to get good at on top of being a good doctor and learning all the physiology and pharmacology, right? We're moving the patients in the operating room, we're setting up IVs, art lines, central lines, we're intubating, we're drawing our labs, our blood gases, we're adjusting things on our anesthesia machine, we're hanging up drips and fluids. Like, it's a lot of physical labor. And I'm realizing that a lot of the tiredness that I'm feeling is probably from that. It's the actual like physical demand of it. And there's a lot of specialties that are not as physically demanding. For example, my 6 months of medicine related stuff during intern year, like it was very mentally taxing, but you know, I got to do a lot of sitting, and you know, I would at least be getting up and going for walks throughout the day, which I guess was physical, but it wasn't like stressful walks, right? Like right now it's like high energy, high intensity. You know, these cases require a lot of attention because as the anesthesiologist, you are the person that is keeping the patient alive during surgery, and that's a big responsibility. And it is just not only mentally and emotionally taxing, it's very physically taxing. And I think that's the part that's really making these hours feel even longer. And I think there was also more distractions last year because I was spending more time around my co-interns in the resident lounge and stuff during the day. Like the majority of my day was spent sitting in the resident lounges, doing charting, eating snacks and stuff. Whereas now the majority of my day is physically next to the patient at the head of the bed and doing things. So I think that's where a lot of my exhaustion is really coming from, guys. Anyway, I want to share that epiphany about my work hours because it really is a big consideration for you guys who are thinking about going into medicine. Like, what do you see yourself doing most of the day? Like, do you want to spend your time doing a lot of thinking and typing notes and stuff, or do you want to spend a lot of your time being really hands-on with your patients, where you might want to consider something like surgery or anesthesiology or emergency medicine? No matter which route you take, you have to accept and realize that residency is just freaking hard, and it doesn't matter what specialty you do, that will never change or not be the case. And it's especially hardest when you're at the beginning of your training. So even though I did an intern year, it feels right now like I'm doing a second intern year because it's my first year of anesthesiology training. So it just feels like I'm still an intern even though I'm technically in my second year of being a doctor. And that's a little bit hard on the mental too, I think. Anyway, that's kind of my rant for the day. I still need to go home and pre-op my patients for tomorrow, but what I think I'm actually gonna do is end the vlog here. And the reason is kind of two things. One, tomorrow is not that different than the rest of the week. I work in the OR all day. I'm not on call. I'm not late or anything. So it's just gonna be a regular work day. So really nothing special or interesting for you guys. But two, I think I just need to be a little bit honest with myself and say that I am getting exhausted. I'm tired. My energy's getting a little bit lower. And so I think it'll be nice to just finish the vlog, go home pre-op, and actually just edit the vlog and not have to spend my Friday evening off or my Saturday off of work editing and worrying about YouTube stuff. I think I'm tired and I kind of just want to edit and have my weekend off. I think I really need it because I'm really feeling the workload right now. I don't think I've ever been this exhausted. That being said, I appreciate you guys so much for joining me in another week in residency. Huge shout out again to Brooks for having incredible shoe wear that keeps up with my lifestyle. Definitely go and check them out. Anyway, thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.